We're all about body positivity here at the Volvo Rescue, and I really want to show off my skin. I don't want to cover this leather with any sort of seat covers. I want it to be out there for the whole world to see its natural, radiant, and now shiny, preserved goodness. This leather is 50 years old, and you can tell that somebody has not been using sunscreen on it because it's pretty dried out, real dirty, and there's only so much that I can do with certain cleaning products. But today we're going to attempt a full restoration and revival of the leather interior from a 1969 Volvo 164 that was parked in 2003, presumably the last time or bouts where anyone would have used some sort of lotion, conditioner, or shampoo on this leather. You couldn't tell from a distance, but a lot of these corners, actually every one of these screw holes was broken, and I went through, picked out the pieces, glued them back on, and then I used the same kind of sound deadening insulation tar/aluminum material to reinforce the back side. The top right was broken beyond repair, and they already had a big washer in there, so I did clean up the washer, and it almost matches the same hue of the original washer. But I had to build it up with some more tar, and then I used this brown tape over it so that it doesn't look silver. I think that'll just stick out slightly less. You won't spend a lot of time looking back here, I imagine, unless you're me, and then you'll know. But I also went through and cleaned a lot of the surface rust with Quad Zero steel wool, which has become my favorite thing. A lot of this bar shined up very nicely, and it had just spots of surface rust, including the handle on the side. Gosh, Quad Zero is great. It can make any sort of pitted or rusted metal looks so much better. Chrome is very sturdy, I've noticed, and underneath, you can get through the rusty spots and just end up with tiny little bumps at the end, but a huge improvement over where it started. I gotta be careful with the lotion because I've already gone through more than half the bottle and I've still got the entire back seat to do. And that is essentially sitting here absorbing and becoming more supple as the hours go by. You see the backside of the leather here is pretty well soaked. It's not missing any chunks of the leather here, so that's good. It's really just a matter of getting this foam to go back in. This is all vinyl here, and the only thing that's leather is this panel. So just the leather part where you sit, the rest is vinyl. I think they do that because it's cheaper, and I don't know why else. And you can really see the stark contrast here between all the vinyl sides and the leather face. As it cleans up more, it becomes more and more of a contrast, so we'll see how it looks when it's all put back in the car. I just want it to be complete. I don't need it to be perfect right now, especially with the cost of replacement pieces. I think the back seat itself is $700 just for the upholstery. That's not any new foam, and that's no labor. That's just the part of the stitching. In leather, of course. The front seats, I think about the same breakdown, $350 per section, so $700 for a front seat, minus the headrest. I managed to get this headrest to close because it was expanded open, sitting in the sun, and then removing these plugs gave me enough smush to get it all back and shut in, and it doesn't look like it's in any danger of coming out again. Really not much sun damage here. When it comes to sun damage, the face of the seat and the tops are really the worst part. Right here, I don't know what to do about this. I'm hoping maybe I could just find a swatch of vinyl and stick it on, and it might just be close enough to help hide that, because it is a bit of an eyesore, that dark spot with the brighter kind of orangey foam showing from the inside. Same thing with the back seat. I would love to have an option for fixing those tops, but it's, as soon as you start unstitching and restitching, then it becomes you may as well do the whole thing while you're there. And in the meantime, I'd like to come up with some quick solution to just cover the tops. Perhaps a blanket, but I don't really like blankets for shows. I like when people show the seat itself. Here's a spare headrest that I got with the parts haul from Danny, when I got the M410 transmission. This, I think, is a 140 headrest because the narrowness of it, it's actually different than, I thought it was the same, but it's quite different from the 164 headrest. See that? And there she goes. So that leads me to believe and confirm my suspicion that these are in fact 140 seats that were put inside of Ivy originally. My first step here is soaking the leather, mostly the stitching and all the dry spots. There's so many different kinds. I have used Lexol in the past and have liked it a lot, but the Vyman leather seems to be a little more affordable. It's a cleaner / conditioner, and I don't really know if there's going to be a huge difference between the two for what I'm trying to get out of it, and that's basically just preventing more cracking. So I'm going to let this soak up a little bit. As this soaks up a lot of the conditioner, it will help really prevent some of those stitches from coming undone. Dry leather is dry leather. There's only so much you can do to bring it back, but I'm going to watch some more videos on my lunch break while this drinks, and then we'll get to cleaning the second seat here, which I don't know if you can tell, but I can't really tell from a distance which is the clean one, which is the dirty one, because there ain't that much improvement. The biggest change was the vinyl. But knowing that the mechanisms are lubed up inside and everything's ready to go makes me feel a whole lot better. Before the steel wool. And after. About 6 hours on leather today. A lot of color came out from this top piece, and I was able to get it to actually clean up a little bit, both sides. Fixing them might be a little easier than I thought, but I do want more because I finished bottle feeding. I think this is a pretty big improvement. The camera makes them look a little more sickly than they are. It kind of gives them like a weird green color. I'm gonna blame that light up ahead. Maybe they just are that color. Yeah, this is kind of the desired effect. The vinyl has a nice tan, but anyway, leather's faded. It's all good. But I want to work on now the seat frames. These are pretty easy, and this one is not half as rusty as the ones that came out of Amy. The passenger side's fine. There ain't much to it. It's real simple, traditional slider, but the driver side gets all the fancy gadget madoos, and it's definitely in need of a good frame swap. And then a good cleaning, a good greasing, should be fine. I'm finding these little black elastics on every seat, and what that tells me is that this car had a cover, and seat covers probably are the reason why there's any leather left. Who knows what kind and who knows how long ago, but I do see elastics at the bottom, which is very indicative of those cheapo seat covers that just one size fits all, slip them on. Here's where it was very helpful for me to have some reference and for you to have this video. This hook here on the bar that transverses the left and right side of the driver's seat needs to point toward the rear. I had it pointing toward the front, and that actually interfered more with this bolt and kind of messed up the whole thing. I was like, that's kind of weird, I don't know. So you saw me scratching my head there, but that's the way to go. Ooh, hey trim piece, found something else to take. I think I understand now why ladies get their nails done so much. It is amazing what a coat of paint will do, fellas and fellettes. Let me tell you, these look so much nicer. They're ready to go back in spick and span. And right now I'm actually going to move on to the seat webbing, which is these dried out elastics. This is, I don't know, old like vinyl plastic back in the day, and it's gone. So I've got some seat belts there that are ready to get hog ringed right into place. I'm also going to wait to put the seats in after I install the frames, and that's mostly because they're a little spring loaded and it can be difficult getting access to some of those bolts. I'm happy to see how the seats have cleaned up, and today's progress has continued this nice little trend of stuff going well. I wish I were joking, but it seems like leather's in right now because 3 stores in a row have 2 bottles of number 2, 0 of number 1. Oh, okay, Walmart. You're gonna sell the exact same thing for half the price? It means I'm just gonna have to buy twice as much. Can't believe I forgot about Walmart when I'm doing my auto parts shopping. These guys. Look at that, $4 for something in the automotive section? Heck yeah. 30 microfiber towels for $10. Over at the Vato Zone, it was 20 towels for like $20. It was about $1 a towel. This is really something. 33 cents a towel. Literally half the price of what I paid anywhere else. And not that I'm gonna use it because I'm getting a little carried away, but literally half the price. Okay, that's enough. We gotta go. Mornings like this, I usually say something dumb like, it's gonna be a hot day. I don't know if you can appreciate these colors, but it's gorgeous. I got this horsehair brush from AutoZone, and it is very soft. It feels like kind of like a cat. It's horsehair with like some plastic fibers in there as well. 303 aerospace protection for the dashboard. It's worth the $15. I'll tell you what. This stuff that I used in the last couple days, well, it's been 2 days since, and the leather feels pretty awful, actually. It almost feels more dry than when before I started. So Lexol to the rescue. We're gonna suds it up though. We'll try this new brush and we'll see if we can get some exfoliation, and the color might change a little bit. That's natural. These really just don't feel great. Warm water, scrubby dubby bubble guppies. If you were to ask Lexol, am I doing this right? They'd probably say no. They want you to do the whole test in an inconspicuous area first and apply directly to the applicator pad or towel and then onto the leather. I'm just going straight to the leather, and I'm adding water to my horsehair brush to make it a little more sudsy. I want those soap bubbles because they really show me the color of the dirt coming out of the leather. And then you see the towels get quite dirty with each wiping. So once I started doing a second round of rinse and repeat with the soap, it actually, well, I'm calling it soap, but it's just the cleaner. The stage one cleaner. It does show that it comes out a lot nicer the second time, so the seats are actually lifting a lot of the dirt and debris out. Something interesting about leather seats is a lot of the dirt, and when you look at the wear of leather seats, typically, for the most part, you'll find that it's right at the seams, and you're thinking, oh no, the stitching must have failed. But what actually causes that is not necessarily just the thread getting brittle over time with UV exposure, which is a factor, but more so that the leather gets dirt and sand in those creases and the crevices and all along the piping and the stitching. And what that does is every time you get up and down and move around on the seat, it slowly grinds into those seams, grinds into the stitching, and the first thing to give will be the seams. Now I want you to do a test here. Take your hand, run it down your back, way below your tailbone, and you tell me, is your seam clean or not? Probably not, and that's just the fact of life. It takes regular care to make sure that everything is nice and clean in here. Don't tell me what you found. I can leave that part out. Yeah, I'm sure damp is nice, but have you tried wet? That's always more fun.
I don't even want to include this part in the video because there's a 95% chance that this is 100% worse just by being ugly. It shows the effort that somebody put, myself in this case, into making a repair on something and then doing it wrong, and then at the end of it, it looks like garbage. So that only makes me look bad. I think I'm just gonna cover this with like a pile of leaves or something. That should be fine. That'll be better than what it is now. And every time I would grab the leather, it would just pull out the thread. And so what I had to do was essentially use really loose thread. And then as I worked my way over, you see, like, it starts nice here, and then you start moving along, and then it starts to close the gap, even though I'm using very light force. Ugh, awful. And so they started getting all loose on the other sides. Not cool at all. And it was difficult passing through that. It was also difficult passing through the other layer, but it was fun. You know, I wanted this to be something of which I could be proud at the end of the race, and it just ended up being something that I'm not happy with. Using a glove and putting that underneath was fun. I kind of like that resourcefulness. In theory, in application, it's not. No, I don't even want to look at this. Cleaning the leather's fine, but I just need new skins, and it's going to be a while till we get there, and I shouldn't have spent this much time on it, but also, that's me, baby. Just keeping it 100. All right, I'll see you in the next video.